Plant City Bonsai. I'm Steve Craddy. Today we're going to talk about fall color. This is a Kashima Japanese maple. When I first got into bonsai, this was one of my favorite. This was shown to me and quickly became one of my favorite varieties. It has a beautiful, beautiful bark color, awesome spring, fresh, bright spring color in green, and then you can see the color is a nice mixture. Certainly one of my favorites. More fall color. Here we have a gorgeous example of Acer palmatum. I have several of these. A grand forest. It's probably enough for maybe 2 forests using these. Love the fall color yellow. And a Trident Maple, showing us it's red. This is probably my 3rd or 4th mention of this group of trees. These are the pomegranates that I purchased in California. You probably first saw these in the video where I first brought them in, where they were totally deciduous. At that point, we still had the job of getting them to wake up happily and become very, very nice trees. And they are that. This is the twisted variety. It doesn't get any prettier than this tree. This is a Kotahime, and it's a fairly old tree. But we're getting it on the perfect day. Sebastian, if you were here 2 days later, I'd be in big trouble. It's been a beautiful color now for a few weeks. Right behind it is one of the trees I brought back from California from George Miranaka. It's a nice chunky trunk Trident Maple, and it's going to give us kind of a mix of colors, going from slight red to yellow. Gorgeous piece. This is a product of how you can start a tree and not even be thinking about something big coming a bonsai, but you're in a woodsy setting. Your home is in Highlands, North Carolina, and you picked this tree 35 to 40 years ago out of the ground, out of your yard, and just grow it as a container plant. And then you become interested in bonsai 10, 15 years later, and you have this hemlock that's leaning, giving us a perfect purpose to do a windswept. This tree's particularly nice because it's old enough to where it has that really nice flaky bark. A genuine raft. This is a tree that's been done the traditional raft style. Japanese Pecumba's Nana Juniper. A very nicely matched up. Is that a good angle, Sebastian? Mm-hmm. This is a Acer palmatum forest. Just a gorgeous planting. So natural. Elms have to be a favorite. Last winter we had very little cold, and the elms released their leaves very late or not at all until the next spring when they pushed out and then created new leaves. So I have a very nice group of elms. They're nice sized. They're a bang for the buck. They're old, and they're just very, very beautiful. My quest for 2014 is to add to my Kingsville boxwood collection of pre-bonsai as well as bonsai form. There will be many to look at by spring of this coming year. Another Japanese maple in nice fall color. And another very large boxwood. This is a group of trees I'm very excited about. I first met these trees about a dozen years ago. They were brought in from China as single trees. They were much smaller. but already had some age on them. They were in very tiny pots. I was called to buy these as soon as they were released out of quarantine, and those who know me for a number of years, I used to enjoy having many of these. And these are very well done single tree plantings, and here's the 3-tree forest that works. Very nice character. Good branching. Now, let's exit our nursery and go on a field trip. I want to take you to a friend of mine's farm where he grows gorgeous Stewartia Monadelpha, black pine, and Trident Maple. Bonsai's 30 years old.
Well, I started in '85. As a business, I started in '85.
Well, I was in business in '86.
Yeah, I know.
Welcome to Plant City's visit to D&E Farms. It's owned by David Laparouse. Dave has been a friend and advisor for almost 30 years. And I'm so excited to be here touring his farm where he grows magnificent trees. Behind us we have this elegant color of Trident Maple. Right before we're here, a perfect time to get the perfect color. Dave, when were these trees planted?
These trees were planted in 1994.
Well, you can certainly see that. The trunks are just majestic on them. Now, what caused you to grow all this large group of trees?
It all started back when I first got into bonsai. No one had a Trident Maple for sale anywhere. I couldn't buy one anywhere. And I said, well, I got some seed from a friend of mine, and I planted them, and I said, I will make myself some Trident Maples. And I said, well, if I'm going to do it, I might as well do a lot of, because some of them might die and stuff like that. So, long story short, I did 1,500 in my first farm, and every one of them lived. And part of these are some of those trees that I originally started out with.
But it really is unbelievable what great work's being done in this country. And fortunately, I'm meeting a lot of the folks, and hopefully I will keep supplying them with cool trees like these. I think this, Dave, you have a gold mine here for we in the bonsai world. So thank you for doing that.
Well, it's been a labor of love, and for many people, you know, they say, well, a tree that big couldn't possibly be used for bonsai. But in fact, you get much nicer detail, finer detail with a larger tree. And they are a little harder to handle. They're not like the little cup thing that you put on your little dresser drawer or whatever, you know.
Right.
But as long as you're getting the trees in this shape and this size, then you can have a magnificent piece because you can refine it out with so much detail.
Exactly. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a sweetie.
Then what happened was I cut off all the unnecessary branches.
And you're rebranching it.
Left it in the ground. The branches come back, the scars healed over, and this happened in about 2 years.
That's incredible.
It is incredible.
That's awesome. Look at the movement in that trunk.
And this
is taper.
And this is what you can do with any of these trees.
Yeah.
Tridents are wonderful for that.
That is fantastic.
That'll be a really nice specimen.
And this is one, I think that you said some of these trees had been lifted up to make them easier to excavate. Is this one of them that was actually done that way?
It was done that way.
Okay.
So all the roots have been cut.
So this tree is very viable. It's used to its present root situation. Therefore, it could be in February bare rooted and shipped right to somebody.
It could be
to their doorstep. Awesome. It was great to see the Trident Maple grove. I look forward to having some of those for my menu for the winter and spring. The black pines that you grow are equally cool. look at the size of this nabari and the trunk. The age on these, what would that be about?
These are about the same age, was a little bit younger. These are 18 years old.
Wow, they really like growing here, don't they?
They love it. I mean, you can look at the scenery in Georgia, and you know that it's pine country, so
yes,
they love it here.
They certainly do. We're here at Dave's D&E tree farm. We're looking at his magnificent rows of Stewartia Monadelpha. Long ago, it became one of my favorite varieties, and because they kind of do everything. They give us a summer bloom. The tips have kind of a beigeish bud after the leaves drop. That turns more white, gives you a wintertime stature that's unreal. And the honey color bark, people just love that. And these are great specimens. Now I made a comment to you that I thought these were kind of difficult, and you said in your opinion, you know, taking them from this stage is a no problem task.
Personally, have not had any problem with them myself. They're extremely versatile, I think, and easy to handle as long as you keep them in the right areas. There's certain areas that they will not grow in, and that's in anything lower than zone 7. I don't think they do very well. Anything above zone 7, I don't really know how far up you could go, but I don't believe that they're a really cold weather tree either.
Okay.
So there's a band in there where they do real good, and we happen to be in that band.
So a person living in Chicago that has dreamed about having a one this size, they would just need to have a good cold frame set up for the care for them.
Well, in the case of Chicago, you have to have almost every tree in
yes.
some sort of a...
Yeah.
So Stewartia would fall right into that. Same thing. They just have the same protection that any other tree that you value.
Well, this is so impressive, and look at the health of these. I mean, we're talking about every branch is viable this late in the year. The next thing is they're going to turn. Now these will turn more of a burgundy, won't they?
Sort of a dullish red.
Dullish red.
Yeah. And they don't keep the leaves a long time though. Once they start turning, they'll lose the leaves pretty quick. Yeah,
but those white buds make me wish that to happen anyway, because when you look at a Bonsai Today magazine and look in the gallery and they have Stewartia Monadelpha in there, it's never with leaves. It's always the little white tips showing up.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to talk about this one over here that's giving us a little bit of early clearing of the lower branches. This is just such an awesome piece. Get down here with the tree. Sebastian, if you can kind of zero in without me being in the way, I'll bet you a couple of inches down that you're going to find a flare.
There will be a flare. That's one thing that this farm has always done for some reason, and I sure am glad of it. Every tree that I've ever dug here had some sort of flare.
That's awesome. Well, you know, we have those folks in bonsai who like to do the most dramatic thing, and hopefully they're young, because some people I know would make that the main tree, and they would eliminate that large portion back there and let that taper in.
I guess you could go either way on that.
It's a dream come true. And if this wasn't grown by you for the purpose of people to do bonsai, we wouldn't have any of these low branches going on there, because it's kind of a typical tree growing thing to limb up a little bit, isn't it?
You have to go up about 6 feet and then start limbing, which ruins it for bonsai.
So this is double incredible.
Well, these are only grown for bonsai. I have no landscape at all desires, so every tree on here, and we have over 1,000 trees now, probably close to 1,200 trees, and every one of them is cultivated for bonsai.
Awesome. Well, thank you for letting us do our video today
Well, I
and
appreciate
visiting
you
with
coming
you
out
and giving
and-
up your Sunday morning.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
appreciate you coming out, and if I can be of any help at all, please let me know.
Oh, you will be. We'll be doing business together very
Great.
soon.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking the time to view this video today. Please stay tuned for our next video that will be focusing our holiday offerings.